Hello and welcome to Otanime episode 6. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Michael Crawford, aka Rickerson One, the only one.
New anime season, people. What's good? What's good?
Ah, shit. Emilio Lopez. Yo, man, I can't hear you.
Hello.
There you go.
Hey man, every time I have to mute myself sometimes, so I forget that it's on.
Yes, Mr. LeRay Williams in the house.
Oh, me.
LeRay fucking up now.
Oh, what up, the Rocket God? What's up?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And, of course, Carlos Romero.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
All right, guys, we're here to talk about them animes. A little late this time, but we're here for you. Let's get right into it. We got a lot of shit to cover, a lot of shit. But damn it, Riku, you said something at the beginning. Now it's going to throw us off even more.
Oh. Ooh.
New anime season. We need to talk about that, don't we?
Yeah, we definitely do.
All right, we'll get into that at the end of the show. I just thought about it now. Yeah, all right. Let's get right into it. Anime we've been watching. Riku, I'm looking at you. Go.
Oh shit. Okay, well, I'm watching 10 things right now because, like I said, the new anime season started, and I picked up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new animes that I started about a couple of days ago. Because the new anime season started last week. Thursday was the first day. And some of those are Chaos Dragon. That started. That's really good. Dragon Ball Super, which we're going to talk about. Gangsta, I mentioned that one a couple episodes ago. That started. That's really good. Overlord, that I just finished watching a couple hours ago. That one's really good. Rampo Kitan. It's like a detective show. That one's really weird. I need to see where that one's going. And I think the one that intrigued me the most is called Charlotte. That one's pretty interesting also. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I was watching ended. I think the only thing that I was watching that hasn't ended is Saint Seiya and Arslan Senku.
Saint Seiya will never end.
Yeah, definitely if they're in the hands of Toei. Toei keeps all of their shit alive, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, just keeps it going. All right, let's move on then. LeRay, what you been watching, man?
All I'm gonna say is that Riku has me fucked up. Every single time, I'm like, yo, what new anime coming out today, Riku? He's like, I don't know. Check out my anime list. And I'm just over here struggling because I can't access my anime list. So I have to find out these animes myself. The only anime that I've been watching is Gangsta and Nice and Sidonia. That's it.
Nice and Sidonia. I heard that season 2 is mad hype this weekend. So many people are telling me to start watching it.
I saw that there was going to be there's a season 2 up, so
yeah.
Man, I know you like that one.
Yeah, I liked it.
I got started on season 1, and holy shit, shit happens, shit goes down, there's betrayals, people turn into monsters. Your old ex-girlfriend, the old girl you did last week, just being something else. But
yeah, it can be a pretty heavy show. I mean, it took me a while to get over the CG stuff that was going on with it, but out of a lot of shows that do CG, mostly CG, they do a pretty decent job of it.
Yeah, I'd say so. It was at first it's like overbearing, but soon you get used to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right, moving on. Carlos.
So I've been watching One Piece. I've been keeping on with that. I started Dragon Ball Super. The second part of the second season of Durara. And I started Planetes, I think how it's pronounced. And I'm looking over the summer season, seeing what I'm going to start watching. I'm looking forward to watching Charlotte and Gangsta. I haven't started them yet, but hopefully I can start those pretty soon. And also GunBuster, the anime of the month.
Nice. Let me tell you that Gangsta is Gangsta. ASAP.
Nice. Somebody needed to say that. Somebody needed to say it. All right, Chris, what about you, man?
Besides the homework and getting to Super, I sampled an anime called Kemonozume, which is kind of like Romeo and Juliet, except the girl is some kind of cannibal monster. And it's really weird and bizarre. I took a break from it because Baccano was bloody enough as it was. So I was like, I don't think I can handle two of this shit at the same time. So I'm gonna. I watched a couple episodes. I'm like, this is freaky. So I'm gonna hold off on that. But it's pretty good. The art style's a little weird, but I was liking it. And
I like how you compared that to Romeo and Juliet. It's like Romeo and Juliet, but the girl's a cannibalistic monster.
I mean, it's flat out. Like you look at the cover and there's no spoilers. Just look at the cover of the anime. You see it. It looks weird. And I mean, the first episode, they're making out, and she's trying not to eat the guy. I'm like, what the fuck? That's all right. So I took a break from it. It's bizarre. That's about it. I've been keeping up with. I watched with my girlfriend Sailor Moon, so we've been keeping up with that, and that's about it. This month's been pretty hectic with keep up with E3 stuff. Playing Batman, which has sucked. Batman was just a black hole, where just my time was sucked into that.
Oh man, yeah, dude, I concur on that one. Manny, what about you?
Me, I haven't been able to watch very much things. I mean, I watched, the other than the homework stuff, and I mean, for the home, for GunBuster, it was just kind of more of a refresher because I knew the show pretty well, and we'll talk about the other one.
Right.
Yeah, I just haven't had much time to kind of sit down. I've been, running all over the place trying to, get a bunch of stuff done.
Yeah,
I barely even have time to play Batman.
Oh man, yeah. As for me, similar to Chris, E3 took up all my time. I was actually there for a week, so I actually couldn't watch any anime for like the last week. That's why I'm kind of grateful we had that delay because I was not gonna watch any of it. I had no time. And then Batman came out the week I came back, and it was like, that's it. Batman took over my entire life. But yeah, so the only ones I watch are the homework stuff, Baccano, fucking GunBuster, and Super. I forgot to mention one last month. I saw the first two. I actually remind me because I'm forgetting. It's all come together. Berserk. I saw the first two movies. I don't know if I know I said it on Twitter. I know Rico, you like that, but
and Battle of Gods.
Yeah. And Battle we got to talk about Battle of Gods real quick. Did we talk about that in the last anime? Otanime? I don't think we did. Like, because
we mentioned it, I don't think we heard your thoughts.
Okay, yeah, so remember I was complaining about all the silly CG in that thing.
All right, I'll get to Battle. I'll get to Battle of the Gods in a little bit because it ties in with Super. So I didn't get to see the final Berserk movie, which is supposedly like the bloodiest movie ever made, and I understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if they're gonna do the whole Griffith turning bit, yeah, I could see that, but. Yeah, man, you're right. Like the CG is really annoying, but they stop with that shit later on. But it sucks because the animation is fucking great.
Yeah, like, it's this really nice looking animation, and then all of a sudden you see some crappily animated CG at the same time. It's like, God damn you.
Yeah, like it wasn't as bad. Like you said, it looks like fucking Dragon Ball Z, whatever, one of those Dragon Ball Z games. It's not that bad, but. It's pretty jarring at the same time, man. It's like, and
I think to myself, it's like, yo, back in the old days, you niggas could have did that shit.
Exactly.
What's wrong now? You can't do that now. You forgot.
And then, but yeah, I like how they condensed it all. It didn't feel rushed because you know how when they condense anime, it feels very rushed. This didn't feel like that at all. Like they took like the first 20, I guess 20 episodes and condensed them to 2 movies. And they did a pretty good job. Like, there were some things they cut out, like the whole thing with Griffith having, like he was essentially the sex slave of that one guy. They said it, but they didn't say it. They allude to it, yeah.
They don't actually give you that, but you can tell that one guy, and then, all the little guys that he had there with him obviously were they looked like Griffith too.
Yeah, so you knew what was up, but yeah, the action sequences were great in that, and I like how they built up Guts in that too. I was afraid that maybe you wouldn't see how much of a badass he is, but they did a good job with that. Especially when he beats Griffith in one strike, I'm like, okay, this is different than when remember the first fight they had Griffith took him down like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
in the final fight, Guts just took him out, and that man Griffith, man, everything was going so well with these guys, and then he fucks it up for some pussy. It is bad, but
well, no, I mean, I think he was.
But he was so fucked up from Guts beating him. That's why.
Yeah, I think he was partly fucked up from Guts beating him, and the fact that Guts left.
Yeah, it was both of them. Because he was like,
man, don't give me too much spoilers, man. I'm still trying to get down on some Berserk. The last thing I know is that Griffith was getting in with the princess girl, and he got his whole squad fucked up because of it. That's the last thing I've seen.
Yeah, that's where, because I didn't see the third movie yet, even though I know what happens. I saw the anime, but yeah, dude, man, LeRay, that's exactly where the second movie ended at that part.
Yeah, that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. And it's like, what the fuck, Griffin? He like sneaks in through a window and shit like that, outside and just gets it inward. I'm like, yo, I wish I had my game was on Griffith level,
Yeah, all he had to do was just roll up in there, literally. So yeah, that's the anime I've been watching. So, and then I want to talk about the Dragon Ball Z movie, because that's going to lead into Super. I got some things to say about this movie, man.
I got something to say.
Wait, y'all watched the movie? Y'all watched the movie? Oh,
no, because remember last month, I said I have yet to see the first Dragon Ball Z movie in like a bunch of years.
I thought you were talking about the revival of Frieza. I'm about to be like, yo, I need to leave for a second while y'all go finish.
No, we ain't talking about that. So I finally saw it before E3. The last movie with Beerus, whatever the fuck his name was. Mm-hmm. Man. Like I don't even know where to start with this. I enjoyed it, but it was like almost 2 hours long. There was a whole subplot of these like Dragon Ball enemies trying to steal some shit. I'm like, you don't need any of this. Like this is like comedy without needing it to be there.
Oh, you mean Emperor Pilaf from Dragon Ball?
Yeah, I was like, this shit didn't need to be in there at all. It was just fluff. And then by the end of it, it just felt like the whole movie was just a giant setup for the fucking anime. That's what it felt like to me, So I felt very ripped off. I didn't like the fact that Goku didn't win. Like, there was no point to this at all, I mean, it was interesting that he didn't win because you've never seen that, but at the same time, it seemed like it was just pointless,
I feel like some of the things that you feel like were pointless, that they put it in there for a reason, like the Emperor Pilaf thing, how they turned themselves into kids instead of turning Goku into kids. I think that that was used as a signal to let us know this is not going to be the same Dragon Ball Z that we got before, that there's going to be going on a completely different route.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that was the correct place to do it in a movie? Like, the whole movie just felt like it was set up for the anime. The movie should stand on its own.
Before we even knew about the anime's existence, what were your thoughts on it?
That's the thing, though. I saw it after I knew the anime existed. So I'm watching this. I'm like, okay, I see what you guys are doing. This is just a giant setup for the fucking anime.
Riku came up to me and was like, yo, man, this is like an opportunity for them to do like more movies in different universes. Which is he's kind of right. But now they're doing that whole series.
Yeah, and then, there's the obvious problem of Dragon Ball Z itself. It's like the only useful person is fucking Goku, Like, they had a little bit of a hint of Vegeta, like, maybe being more powerful than Goku. I like that.
Come on now. Krillin's useful, too. Remember when he died and Goku turned Super Saiyan?
Without Krillin, we wouldn't have Super Saiyans. Think about it.
Goku, no!
And this is why, okay, I'm going to go back. I remember years ago people telling me, it's like, hey, I like One Piece better than Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, you're fucking crazy. How could you say that? Now that I've watched like almost, actually more than 300 episodes of One Piece, and I've seen about the same amount of Dragon Ball Z, I get it. No matter what happens in One Piece, every character is useful to some extent. It's
Tony,
not like, what's up?
So I think I'm a good example for this. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z was my life growing up. Whenever I missed an episode, I would cry. I started watching One Piece this year, and I like One Piece better than Dragon Ball.
There's a reason. One Piece. I'm saying One Piece is a better anime than Dragon Ball Z. Every character. Listen, if your anime is mostly about fighting, right? You can't just have one guy that's actually useful. Like, everybody else is a fucking waste.
That is the exact reason why I don't watch Dragon Ball Z after he fights Vegeta. I
Wow.
got to Frieza
Yeah.
the Frieza stuff, and I just at that point I stopped watching for that reason because it just became all about Goku. And those first few things, what was it about? It was about the other guys too. They could still fucking fight. Piccolo
Yeah.
could still fucking fight. But now it's just
Vegeta
like
damn near killed all
now,
the Ginyu Force.
yeah, and now all it is like they're just in the way so that he could get enough time to go. "Ah," you know.
I mean, granted, in the Cell Saga, we did get some future
Gohan.
transformations. We got some
Again,
Super
it's like
Vegeta against
it's all
Android.
about Goku and about his super
But
strong
you gotta,
family. That's why
but
my
you
cat.
gotta
Not
That's
think.
necessarily in the not necessarily in the Cell
But you
Saga.
gotta think though, that Dragon Ball started out with Goku as a kid, and it was all about him going around beating the Red Ribbon Army single-handedly and
But the
protecting
thing
the
is that
Dragon Ball.
that was a different show. That was not the Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball are only in the same is in the fact that they have the same characters. In no way are they the same show.
Yeah, they're different
mean,
types of shows.
I mean, they actually used to they actually fight in those episodes in those episodes as opposed to right now where they just kind of really quickly slap each other and then throw energy balls at each other.
I don't remember. I mean, other than Frieza, when you say it's all about Goku, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, when I think of the two major villains after Frieza, which was Cell and Buu, Goku didn't beat those guys. I mean, yeah, technically he beat Kid Buu at the end.
Yeah, he beat
But
Kid Buu.
all of that Majin Buu stuff, Goku was barely anywhere in there. The majority of the other characters, even though they didn't beat Majin Buu, they got their shine at one point.
Yeah, but
through that whole arc.
I kind of agree with Manny in this case that
Mhm.
you during at least for the Boo saga, all you were expecting is for Goku to come save the day, and
Yeah,
you
basically.
you never felt like any of the other characters, maybe except for Gotenks,
Yeah.
but it was more of a Gotenks was more of a comedic relief than more than
And what
anything.
about in the Cell Saga?
Yeah, well, so with the Cell Saga, I thought it was like the show was primed to get Gohan to be like one of the main characters, to be like the guy to maybe even replace Goku, but they kind of messed him up after he got fucked up by Cell by Boo.
Here's a fun
Hey,
fact.
Gotenks coming back in Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, here's a fun fact that Akira Toriyama
I meant
always meant.
Gotenks. Sorry.
Yeah, Akira Toriyama always meant for Gohan to replace Goku. Goku was supposed to just die, but people didn't want that, so he had to okay, Gohan doesn't become the new Goku, which is a missed opportunity because if they always built up Gohan like he was going to be this ultra powerful character, and yeah, he did beat Cell and stuff, but still, after that, it just became all about Goku and flurries of shit like that, and that leads into Super. This was a very underwhelming episode, man. Because I was thinking, yeah, to say the least. Because here's the thing: go back to Dragon Ball Z, the very first episode when Raditz shows up. That first episode, okay, some shit is about to go down. In this one, I'm like, what's the point of this? Granted, thank you for erasing GT. Nobody needs that. But other than that, I'm I'll keep watching it because it's Dragon Ball. But at the same time, I'm not excited at all. It didn't do anything to get me going. And then Beerus showed up again, and it's like, are we gonna just okay? Here's the thing: are we gonna repeat the movie again now? Did the movie not count? I thought that was canon.
Apparently, as of right now, the movie is considered not canon, and the Super is now the new canon. And they're taking what Battle of Gods, and they're going to be adding content to make it last an arc.
So
essentially, they're just going to take animation from the movie and.
No, they're not taking animation from the movie. They're taking the plot from the movie and adding more fights to it. Because their plan right now is to have introduce Bills, Battle of Gods, that whole arc, then the Fukatsu no F stuff, which is Resurrection of Frieza, and then after that, then we're supposed to get all of the new stuff that Super's supposed to bring, like that. If you've seen screenshots around with the web, this new Bills, this Champa guy, he's like a fat Bills. I don't know if you've seen any screenshots of him.
No, I haven't seen that.
But yeah, well, there's screenshots all over the place about this new Bills guy, and he's accompanied by this Whis-looking female, and apparently that's supposed to be the third arc in this 100 episode scheduled Dragon Ball Super that they have.
So that makes it even worse then. If like a good chunk of it is going to be just a redo of the movie, just with more padding on it, basically. And I didn't even like
basically
the movie.
the beginning. Yeah, because they're gonna have to reintroduce. Because you saw how they did in episode 1. Bills didn't even know what a Super Saiyan God was. He's basically going through all of that again.
Yeah. So, man, because I was confused. I'm like, go ahead, man.
Yo, what I like about this Bills is that he's ruthless, man. He's not you're not gonna get the same Bills that's like, oh, I want to kick a rock and your planet's destroyed. No, he's gonna fuck up your planet, cut it in half. Doesn't fuck.
But for the same reason though, because they didn't like your food, you know.
Yeah. That was silly.
Yeah. What else? Who else wants to get in here with Dragon Ball? I was very underwhelmed by that episode.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they first announced this, and as soon as they saw that last anime they did, I just said, I've already checked out. I'm not gonna watch this. It's just like whatever. I mean, I'm sorry if you guys really liked it, but it just seems like it's like we'll just leave well enough alone. It's okay.
I am
I
kind
don't know.
of.
I think it's too early for me to judge completely. The episode was, man, but it was just an introductory episode.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from when you say introductory episode, but you also gotta go back to what Tony says. But at the same time,
I mean, at the same time, it's like, why do we need to introduce a lot of these characters if we've already been watching Dragon Ball Z Kai for a good, I don't know, 4 years already?
Well,
that's
not everyone that's popping in the Super have been watching
Yeah.
Kai.
Like,
That's not
if new
me.
people are
I
getting
mean,
into Dragon Ball now, if somebody's going to get into it now, they're going to see this.
But I mean, the thing is that they're still showing that Kai show on TV. It's not like it's years off. I mean, it's still pretty fresh in people's memories.
I mean, when you say people's memory, I mean, but a lot of people that are watching Super are people that were just watching the original Dragon Ball Z, not Kai. I mean, I'm one of those people. I haven't seen Kai, and I'm not going to Super.
What I'm saying is, okay, if it's people that need to be, that have not watched it in a while, I mean that also they really don't need to be introduced to Goku or any of those guys. They could just start running.
Well, I mean,
you got to understand who's animating this also, and how many episodes. First of all, they're trying to bring Dragon Ball back, and they're trying to keep it here for a long time. And that's first of all. Second of all, this is Toei. You know how Toei's going to drag everything out. If you've watched One Piece, you know this. They're going to drag everything out. So to see an episode like this, and plus if you saw the preview for the next episode, it's going to be Vegeta's little stuff at like a carnival or whatnot. So who knows how long they're actually going to take before they actually get into some of the stuff. But from what it looks like, from my perspective, it looks like they're going back to remember the original Dragon Ball Z when they had those filler episodes like Goku learning how to drive a car and whatnot. Those types of episodes.
Yeah. But there's a problem though. They didn't have those be the first episode. The first episode did nothing to set up the series.
I think for Super, they think that they can get away with it because we already know what Dragon Ball is. To some extent, we know that we're going to get a good fight sooner or later. So they feel that they can get away with not enticing us from the get-go because this is Dragon Ball. We don't really need to entice them because you know what you're getting yourself into. Even though our enticing episode may be 20 episodes from now, I know you're going to sit there and watch it. This is what Toei's thinking, This is why we probably got an episode like this. I'm probably going to get another episode like that on episode 2 and maybe episode 3. We might get little sprinkles of like bills going around, mention of a Super Saiyan God and all that stuff, but this is Toei. I'm sitting here watching the same thing. I'm going through kind of the same thing, and we only get 13 episodes once every 2 weeks. So I'm just like, okay, Toei. I mean, I understand that there's going to be episodes like this, so I'm just going to sit and watch it. But if there's anything I'm not mad about, well, actually, I thought I was going to be mad about it, but I'm not, is the animation. I thought Toei was going to fuck it up because as far as everything they've been doing lately, Toei's animation has plummeted. I'm glad as far as animation-wise, they didn't really fuck up Dragon Ball. I didn't expect them to.
This is hands down the best Dragon Ball has ever looked. Let's just be real about it.
Well, I wasn't talking about like as far as it being in HD. I was just talking about how everything moves and whatnot. Because if you've seen any recent Toei animes that have came out in the last like 5 years, they all look like they haven't been trying. And when it comes to One Piece has those episodes where they actually do try, but majority of the episodes of One Piece, they don't really try. So I thought they were going to do that with Dragon Ball also, but maybe they will. I mean, this is supposed to be over 100 episodes, and we know how Toei's budget gets. So maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll have to see. But I think what I'm most excited about is the stuff after what we already know. Like when I think Akira Toriyama had an interview about like 3 days ago about what he plans to do for Super after the stuff we already know about, and he sounded like extremely ambitious. I was talking to LeRay about it, about how he wanted to make these alternate universes on some DC Marvel type level. Like, you know how there's like 6 different, Wolverines or 6 different Batmans from all different universes, and they all have their own stories. He's trying to do something like that with Dragon Ball Super. And
they did mention that in the movie. They said there's other universes out there, with guys even more powerful.
Exactly. But when I thought when you said different universes, I thought you just meant like, different universes with a whole bunch of different people, not a parallel universe. What he meant to say parallel universe.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. But we have to slog through the movie first,
I'm wondering if they're going to change stuff around, because, like you said, there's certain stuff in the movie that people didn't really like. I'm wondering if they're going to change
bullshit, for example.
I'm wondering if those stuff are even going to be in there, or But like I said, I'm more interested in these parallel universes and how many is he actually going to create, because he had little concept arts of how each universe was going to look, and he had the skinny Bills we knew, he had a fat Bills, he had like a tiny Bills, and each of them was like from all parallel universes. And then before the first movie came out, there was a rumor about this new Dragon Ball movie, and it was supposed to be about a new villain called Evil Goku, and he was supposed to be. The plot was Goku was supposed to wish for the Dragon Balls to give him a challenging opponent, and Shenron brought a Goku from a parallel universe that never got bumped on his head and conquered Earth and his parallel timeline to come and fight Goku, and he beat Goku. That was the original plot for the movie, and then they just scrapped that whole thing and gave us Bills and whatnot. So I'm wondering, with this parallel universe, are they going to bring that back? Because to me, I wanted to see Evil Goku beat the fuck out of regular Goku. That's what I wanted to see. And with this plot that he has going up, we could probably see the return of that. So I guess that's why I'm vaguely hyped about it. But we're gonna have to wait at least to get to the third arc. Man, we're gonna have to wait at least a year and a half. We're gonna wait a year and a half to get there. Something like that.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Chris, man, what are your thoughts?
It reminded me a lot of, well, it was a little slow, but it reminded me of a filler episode combined with the very beginning of Dragon Ball Z, like that very first episode before before Raditz comes down. Like, Goku's just hanging out at his house, Chi-Chi's riding him, and he's working out, but then he has to do stuff. He has to be responsible. Gohan has to be a good student. It's like that. They have a little slice of life stuff in there. I didn't mind it too much, and they show Bills, which I didn't watch the movie, so I don't know anything about Battle of the Gods. Like, I only know what you guys told me. So I see him, he blows up half the planet. I'm like, all right, he's gonna be the problem now again, apparently. And I was lured in, and I think they're approaching it carefully. They're being safe about it because they want to get new people into Dragon Ball. Like, yeah, fans are gonna know all this stuff, like Manny was saying. It's like, we already know all this shit, but some people don't. So they gotta play it safe. They have to cut a fine balance between getting new people on board with Dragon Ball, and Riku says for the long haul, and making older fans happy and getting rid of GT at the same time. So I think
here's the thing about GT. In an interview, Akira technically never used the words Dragon Ball GT. It doesn't exist anymore. He never used those words, And with this parallel universe stuff, with the amount of universes that he's going to create, everyone's like, man, one of those universes might be GT. We might see Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Here's the thing, though. He obviously is not going to say that those places don't exist because at the same time they made money off of it. So
yeah.
he's just like what he's not gonna say that. He's just gonna be like he's just gonna be as vague as possible. It's kind of like the way Jurassic World doesn't actually say that the other two Jurassic Park films don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because theoretically, if you watch Jurassic World, you could still say that those other two stupid films existed too. There's no place that says that they can't.
Especially since they brought the doctor guy from the first one.
True.
Yeah,
True.
that's true.
Long.
Okay, Carlos, what do you think as a lifelong Dragon Ball fan, the guy who cried when he missed episodes? I want your take on it specifically.
I hear your childhood
and I've watched
screaming.
And I've watched them in English, Spanish, and Japanese.
Oh, man, that's real right there. That's
the
real.
Spanish one is
That's
actually,
obsessive.
Spanish one is actually, believe it or not, is actually about as good as the Japanese one. They actually get the intensity of it, right?
I think the Spanish is my favorite. That's the one I preferred.
You speak Spanish?
Yeah, that's my first language.
Yeah, his name is Carlos Romero.
Are you sure? Don't want to be racist.
My man's Mexican, man, the real deal.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, go ahead.
But,
I want your take on it because that's real Dragon Ball Z love right there. Like I've only seen it in 2 languages. I haven't seen it in fucking like 5. Like,
you saw it in Spanish though.
I did see some of it. It was weird though. It's like El Kamehameha. You know,
but they were. But I mean. But they did get it though. It's like
anime in Spanish is so weird. I can't do it, man.
Oh,
it is so weird. But then again,
fact,
like
they don't use.
Yeah, go ahead.
They don't call her Goku's wife Chi-Chi because Chi-Chi means tits in Spanish. So they call her Milk.
Wow. What, they call her leche? They call her leche or something?
No. Milk.
Milk. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of like a little bit of a sidetrack. I've never heard a Hispanic voice cartoon that sounds good. They like horrible voice acting as far as to my ears.
But the thing is you're watching this. I know in general the Spanish ones like Spain Spanish has always been a complaint between anime fans. Like they've always like Spanish. People from Spain said they like watching the Latin America ones because they're a lot better.
Interesting.
Oh, dude, I hear that all the time when it comes to Saint Seiya because they love them some Saint Seiya over there in Latin America, and apparently their own is better than the Japanese. But I wouldn't know what a good Latin American voice acting sounds like because I don't speak Latin American. I mean, Japanese might think a horrible dub sounds good. They don't know. So we think some of these Japanese voice actors sound good to the native language over there. They're probably like, this is horrible.
Yeah, like, what are you guys doing? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Carlos, man, super. What do you think of that first episode?
So, yeah, it was pretty underwhelming. I guess, I mean, it's probably my fault for expecting too much, especially since Toriyama's coming back and he's producing and everything.
First off, I want to ask a question. How could you expect too much? It's supposed to be Dragon Ball Z. It's supposed to be like, oh my god, this is awesome.
You're expecting exactly what you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to be. You're expecting what you're supposed to get, and what did you get? You kind of got a. It sounds like everybody got a lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I knew what I was gonna get because I already read the manga.
I didn't. Because I was like, I thought it was gonna be like the first episode of Dragon Ball Z. That first episode of Dragon Ball Z sets you up, man. Like the first thing you see, Raditz. He shows up like, oh shit, it's about to go down. Nope, not this episode.
I was expecting like the actual set piece to what's gonna like take on the whole this arc at least, and we got freaking Farmer Goku and Trunks and Goten trying to fight.
I mean, you got a little bit of that with Bill's.
We did,
but just a teensy bit. That's all you got.
Yeah, and
like I said, they're probably working on episode 75 right now.
What I thought was stupid about this episode was when Bill destroyed half of the planet. They kind of look up and was like, "Oh my gosh, another planet's gone." No, man, you only destroyed half the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously this is taking place before. If you watch the movie of Battle of Gods, this is an alternate timeline than Battle of Gods, and this is taking place before Battle of Gods also. So Goku hasn't even gone to King Kai to train yet because that's this whole episode. So next episode is going to be about Vegeta, and the episode after that, we most likely will see Goku starting off on where Battle of Gods movie started, jogging on the planet. Huh?
Also, why is he going to Kinkai training? What does he
can
have
I-
left to teach of?
Yeah, can I? I'm gonna teach you something really good.
This is weird because Kinkai wasn't teaching anything. Kinkai wasn't even teaching him anything when you watch it. He was just like jogging, like.
Yeah, 'cause it's like, wait, like the planet doesn't even have any gravitational pull on him anymore, you know? So what the fuck's he doing?
Yeah, I mean, can't he just go in that crazy thing that
Hyperbaric
Bulma
chamber.
made him? Like, no, he
Yo,
doesn't
that
even need to go to
You
the
mean
time
that training
chamber.
center that Vegeta's always in?
That Vegeta uses, yeah, he could just go in there. He doesn't need to go to King. I mean, why not just go fight Vegeta for like 12 days, beat the shit out of each other, eat a bean, and you're good. And then pump up and then go fight, those.
Catman.
So anyway, Carlos, you were disappointed or underwhelmed, I guess.
So yeah, I guess like how I saw it, it was mostly a filler episode, just with the tiny bits of pieces that might set up the whole thing. But yeah, like Riku said, it's all expected.
Toei knew they could get away with it, so they did it.
Yeah,
Man, that's some bullshit.
they know we're gonna latch onto the series.
I think also that they didn't mind too much because the Z ended pretty heavy, and there was no like I know there's a gap in years, but in the show there's not much of a gap. It's like, oh, the Earth has peace. Everyone beat the shit out of each other, and now everything's calmed down. So they show the calm. They didn't get right into it. Like Beerus didn't just come in and just blow someone up. Like I almost expect him to blow Mr. Satan up. Like
Yeah.
that's how everything starts, right? But no.
And Goku's now like a bazillionaire because of Mr. Satan. He just gave him all his prize stuff.
Actually, I actually like that. Like he's like, you deserve this. Like I was like, wow, that's the only redeeming thing I've ever seen you do.
Yeah, because Mr. Satan's an asshole, you know.
Yeah, he's aged, so he's just like, I really don't care anymore. Especially after seeing all that Majin Buu shit, he probably was just like fatigued.
Go ahead, man.
Or he's a completely different person in this universe. Well, a slightly different person.
Well, you know, we're not going to get into that right now because if they go into alternate universes thing, it could be cool, but it could also be a way of cheap out a bunch of shit, you know.
Yeah, Akira was like he's taking this really slowly as far as making parallel universes because he says he's enjoying drawing alternate versions of like every character, but he's trying to keep he's saying he's trying to keep it simple. I don't know how you can keep multiple universes simple, but we'll see how.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen him do some crazy contradicting shit back in previous Z shit. So he's already done parallel universes before with Future Trunks. That's technically a parallel universe.
That is true.
This is apparently a lot more ambitious than that.
So he's actually drawing a comic right now too.
He's drawing the concept art for it.
So
I think someone else is drawing out the manga, but he just has the story written out for that person to draw the manga out for it, and then Toei adapts that manga. So he's technically not drawing anything. He's just writing.
And he probably can't because he's got
really
horrible carpal tunnel
That's what I was
syndrome.
saying. That's where more mangaka need to start doing. They need to stop drawing. They need to find someone that can draw their shit better than they can, and go write the story. Because a lot of fucking mangaka out there. Yep, Togashi. There's a lot of fucking mangaka out there that just like their arms, they start to get pains and whatnot because they just sit down and draw. They do everything.
Well, that's why they have assistants. A lot of them have assistants.
Yeah,
like, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure guy was the assistant to the dude who did Fist of the North Star. You can actually see it in his work.
Mm-hmm. You can definitely see it. Yeah. So I think that's why he's making a comeback. And it's easy for him to do that because a lot of mangaka, they don't like once they finish their 600 chapter shit, they go into retirement. They just live off of like royalties of the video games and all of the other shit.
The anime and all that shit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, like just to wrap it up. This first episode, like I said, it didn't really impress me. I mean, there were a couple of things I liked. I liked seeing what everybody was doing afterwards. I liked that Goku is now like super rich. That's kind of cool. I liked the animation. The animation was okay. They didn't really do anything in this episode, but the art style.
I just didn't want it to be horrible, and that's what it wasn't. It wasn't horrible.
No, it was.
You're not going to get anything horrible like in the old days. You're going to get a pretty consistent product.
Yeah.
This is Toei though in 2015, so I just didn't know. I just didn't know.
Yeah, like I mean,
I think it's because there's Dragon Ball. I'm sure
you notice it even with Saint Seiya. Like it never drops under a certain point. It never looks horrible.
Yes,
right?
it did.
no, Riku's saying that Toei's been falling off.
At some points, I was like, ugh, what the fuck? Did you get a 3-year-old to draw his face? What the fuck, Toei? Like, it's like they had a budget of like a third grader.
Chris, I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, Sailor Moon. The same thing was happening.
Sailor Moon, exactly.
Scenes that look so.
This is Toei of 2015. We're scared. We were scared, literally, because we thought Dragon Ball was going to get that same treatment, but it didn't. Their budget is obviously bigger. I got a question though. So, are they doing the same thing with Sailor Moon when they release the DVDs? They look nice.
No,
is that what's happening?
They're going back and fixing stuff, but the stuff that's released, the stuff that we get to see right away. Like, some of it looks janky, man.
Yeah.
That sounds very familiar. Patch it later, right? That sounds very familiar.
Let's patch that animation later.
All right, so there you go. Dragon Ball Super, we will no doubt talk about this for the next few years. I guess every episode.
We'll just keep up with what's going on.
I'm going to teach you a new move, Goku.
Hold on, LeRay, you got a split, man?
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right, man. Say goodbye to the folks, I guess.
My connection is real shitty, so I hear only half the conversation.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Okay, guys.
All right. Take care, man.
Later.
Later, man.
All right, let's get right into it. The first anime of the month is Baccano. This was Carlos's recommendation. So, Carlos, why don't you start us off? What do you just a quick recap? What do you like about the series?
So, it's kind of confusing, but I like the characters. I like the storylines. I like how it's all arranged. I like the gore. It has a lot of good comedy, good fighting scenes. And yeah, it's just an interesting story. I like how all the characters there's no main characters. There's just a whole bunch of like side characters, and they all have their different motives and different personalities. And I just like how the story combines and matches with everything.
And you watched this in dub or sub?
I watched it in sub.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlos never watches it dubbed.
Yeah.
Honestly, I watched it in dub, and it was actually pretty good. The voice acting, they had a lot of. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I was just gonna say I heard it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. The voice actors they were really good actors. It didn't sound like they were just reading lines off of a script. They really had. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say this way. I mean, in general, like, dubs aren't bad.
Yeah, dubs these days aren't that bad now. They're really good.
I mean, have been really good for the last like 15 years, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you go back to some of the old Streamline pictures. Yeah, that stuff is pretty bad. Or some of the shit that came out of Viz. Now that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was bad.
Nowadays,
exactly.
you get a pretty decent level. I mean, as much as I hate the Gurren Lagann dub, it's passable. Even though I think the Japanese did a lot better for that one.
Yeah, but I mean, some anime have better. Like, here's the thing: most anime have a certain level of dubness, which is good. I think it's good. But then you saw stuff like Death Parade. I thought that was a little bit above it. It's like, damn, this is fucking fantastic.
That's Madhouse. Madhouse knows how to pick and choose.
But Baccano, I got some stuff to say about it. But the voice acting, I absolutely loved it. Everybody had a distinct accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's great. Like the main dude, the rail tracer. He didn't call himself like I'm the rail tracer. Like they all had talk like they're from Boston or from Chicago or from New York.
I love that. You don't see that. Everyone is when you watch anime like that, they don't really try to even put an accent on.
They have generic anime voice.
Yeah, they use either a generic anime voice or the voice actor would just talk like how he talks, Well, I don't want to use Nolan North as an example, but Nathan Drake. I saw Nolan North talks. He doesn't change it whatsoever. That's not bad, but it's just like that's an example right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Troy Baker sometimes. He just talks with his own voice, and he did a lot of anime.
True.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Instantly.
Yeah, I guess I might not be giving English dubs that much of a chance, but I kind of hate when they have that generic voice like, we're gonna go save the world. Oh, we're like.
I think if there was anyone that probably had that voice, it was what's the guy with the scar on his face? Well, not scar, tattoo.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, he did.
He probably, out of all the characters, he probably had the
generic anime voice.
That generic anime voice. He probably, if there was anyone that had it, he probably had it. But everyone else.
Carlos, watch Death Parade dubbed. You trust me. Even I was like, this is fucking fantastic. You know, like it's really good. And even this one, Baccano, you should probably watch in dub too. They do like everybody has a thing. Here's the thing. I never watched it in Japanese. I'm like, how do you convey that with just all these Westerners? You know, Western because they're not.
That's definitely something that people had to take into consideration.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Have everybody just talking Japanese is like.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they could do is they could get because there are different accents within Japan.
Yeah, there are, but it's hard to tell if you're not.
They could have hired the equivalent of something that people see as a gangster voice or as a something else voice. You know what I mean?
We wouldn't have known, but yeah, you're right.
That's the point though, because you remember Abenabashi?
Yeah.
They did that. Like they said like the main characters are from a specific town and that town has a specific accent. And they said that translated well. And then for the American version, what they did was they got people from Texas to do their accent, and then like the guys from Tokyo, they would have like a New York accent. Like they try to do it that way. So yeah, in Japan they have accents too, but it's just harder for us to actually hear them out.
Differentiate exactly.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, I mean, besides the voice acting, I'm gonna bring things out a little bit. Baccano is a hard fucking anime to watch, man. And I don't mean
it's a hard sell.
And I don't mean it's hard like Ghost in the Shell hard. It's just like it was boring. Like I was like texting most of the time or something. It was like it wasn't until like
it was like those first 4 to 3 episodes. You're kind of confused on where the story was trying to go, because there was a real trust. Everyone's about to go on this train. Something is about to go down on this train, and then they deliberately. I mean, you eventually figured out, but I didn't figure it out at first. They were telling you 2 stories at one time. They were telling you, the current and the, and flashbacks or the past, and they necessarily didn't tell you which one was, the current. So I was talking to LeRay and a couple of other people who was watching Baccano. They didn't necessarily know which one was like, the one they should be following, and I didn't figure out till like the third last episode. I was like, oh wait. This one is the present. This one is the past. Oh, okay.
I was overwhelmed by that intro.
Oh,
there's like 40,000 people in this. I'm like, who are you people?
I was getting confused, like who was who, like because a few of the guys looked alike, like the Gandor brother and this other guy looked almost the same, and they didn't say who they were talking to, so I'm like, is that Gandor guy? Is this other dude?
I'm glad they had names at the intro, because like every time the intro came on, I would actually sit down and try to memorize the names, because when the anime started, I could like a lad, that dude was crazy, and I only remember his name because of the opening and all of the crazy stuff he did.
How come you can't remember them Game of Thrones characters?
Well, because they didn't do that. If they introduced those Game of Thrones characters, I probably would have. Everyone's gonna be calling sexy bitch with the titties.
By the way, this anime is like heavily guilty of that whole thing where it's like, hey, here's a Westerner with a weird sounding name. That's like, you guys could have picked real names, like Arlant or something. It's like, that's not real, guys. Like, stop trying to approximate a Western name and use an actual Western. Like, what's the guy's name? Jacuzzi? I'm like, they didn't even have jacuzzis in that time. How the fuck is this guy to be called Jacuzzi? It shit makes no sense. Full Metal Alchemist, same thing. It's like, these aren't real names. Even Attack on Titan has it.
For Full Metal Alchemist, they're all mostly German names.
Yeah, but even then, like, some of them are like, come on, guys. But Attack on Titan, that's another one. It's like, no, guys, no.
They're trying to do like weird. So, like, at least for Full Metal Alchemist, they're trying to do somewhat. Hohenheim and stuff like that. Those are all like funky German names, so that's more or less where it comes from.
Yeah, those guys. But then you get to the other people, it's like, no, it's just you thinking of what you think a Western name sounds like. They could have just opened up a book. That's it. Just open up a book. But yeah, like, to me, I didn't start like getting interested in this series until like episode 7. Like, up until then, it's like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, I had no idea. Like, it was like a gangster story, and then when they introduced the immortality, I'm like, okay, I guess that's interesting.
Yeah, the little flashback with the immortality. Yeah, that's when it started to get my attention too.
Yeah, as far as anchors go, I anchored myself to the train. Like, to me, that's the present. Everything else before and afterwards, that to me, the train was the present.
Yeah, true.
Chris, you gonna say something?
Well, no, because remember when I was watching, I was like, dude, it's like I was thinking of Highlander without the swords, but then they had that weird thing where they had that caveat where they could just eat each other. They like suck each other up through their
Oh,
hands.
yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, what if you accidentally pat somebody on the head and you're like, damn, I'm hungry. It's like, there he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't think about food while you're touching someone.
Yeah, basically, because you're gonna just suck them up. I did enjoy the violence. Like you don't see that a lot in anime now. You know,
True.
Really, really brutal.
Brutally brutal. Like when the real Tracer was like, hanging on like the edge of the train and just like pushing people's hands into the tracks. That was some crazy stuff.
When he put that little kid, and that little kid was immortal, so he got like regenerated back.
Yeah.
So you just kept going through the whole time.
There's some pretty brutal scenes inside that show.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that they did all that evil shit to the kid because you never see that in anime or in anything, you know.
No,
and if you do, it's filler. I mean, it's filtered or like out and whatnot. They showed everything.
Yeah, like remember when the serial killer guy, he like blew his head off with a shotgun, you know, because he gave him the wrong response.
Oh yeah, that was great. Lad was definitely. I think Lad and the Real Tracer made the show though. Those guys definitely, in my opinion, as far as from an entertainment standpoint, they kept it afloat. Like when they were on the top of the train and they were having their like fight. I like that whole scene.
Well, I would have liked it if the whole core of the story just took place on the train. Like they jumped around a lot. Like,
yeah,
they were
that's what I
constantly
said. That's what
around.
confused me a lot.
Yeah,
I was like, why are we in a bar? Why are we here? Why are we there? The only one I actually understood is when they actually did the flashback of the immortality thing.
Yeah.
All the other stuff. I was just like, hey, when does this take place? You know?
Yeah. You know, they either put in the year or they left it out. Like they were constantly going from the train to something. I was like, wait, are we in the future, in the past now? But then they tell you sometimes, and sometimes they wouldn't tell you when they jumped.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird way to present a story. Definitely weird. I don't know if it. As far as I'm hearing, majority of people found that to be mostly confusing as far as presenting it that way. But
yeah, and then like
you understand everything, but
yeah, kind of. I do understand it, I guess, but I kind of didn't see the point of it at the same time.
Yeah,
you know,
like we could have figured out all of that stuff without it, except for the immortality flashback. I think that was the only one that was really needed, and like I said, that was the only one that was entertaining to me. But all of those other ones, I think we probably could have figured out what everything was going on without those. But, I mean, well, how many episodes was it? It was 6, right? Or 12?
Well, it's like 13, right?
There were
13, including the special episode. Did you guys watch that?
There was like 16 if you're gonna count those, but I didn't get to see those. No time for that. Were they essential?
No, they were like epilogues, but they weren't. They weren't necessarily needed to watch. I just watched them. But yeah, they were decent also. I like this one. It was a fine anime.
Well, I like the train mystery. I was kind of confused, even past the going back to the ship and the immortality stuff. Where it's like, okay, everybody seems immortal in the 30s, right? And then I'm like, there's only a few people on the ship, and Sirius killed most of them. You know, trying to get the fucking formula. Right. And it's like, so how did all these guys get immortal? Like it didn't come together until the very end, where it's like, oh, the Irving and Miria stole the liquor, and it was actually the formula, and then everybody drank it at the party, and now everybody's immortal. But then I was like, what? This whole time, everybody's getting shot up, getting back up. I was like, how? You weren't on the ship. When did this happen?
Yeah.
You too, immortal.
Yeah, because and they weren't like full on immortals. Like I think they aged or something. Some of them.
Yeah.
And then there were some. Yeah, some of them like that. Then they're full ones that never age, never die. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think the ones
that means they just had a sip.
The ones he injected, then it could grow old. They just couldn't die. But everybody who drank from the 2 bottles that Sirius had, they got the full immortality.
Yeah, because that was the demon shit, you know, the demon summoning crap.
Formula. Yeah.
And they never really got into the whole like you never really saw the demon again. I thought he was gonna pop up again or something, you know.
That's for season 2.
Yeah, I guess. Is there a season 2 for that? I think I saw something like that. I don't know.
No, the demon was there. He was that that dude. I forgot his name. He was always watching them.
Which guy was that?
At the end, Miza's talking to this dude, and he's kind of hanging out. You know when everybody starts celebrating, like, oh, we don't care, we're immortal, and they're dancing around, and he's hanging out, and he's like, I'll just see how this plays out. That's the demon. That's the guy who gave him the formula.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was there the entire time.
Yeah, he was watching everything. I think he actually might have been the guy. I don't know if it's true. The guy behind all the papers, you know, the information broker, and you never see this dude, and he's asking all these questions. I thought it might have been him, but you see him at the end, and he's like, well, we're just going to see how this plays out. I was like, oh, it's the devil. It's the guy who gave him the formula. Because he talks exactly like him, man.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it. You're right. Yeah, very confusing show, but, you know, people like it. And I know the manga goes even further, like, in the storyline and stuff. You know, like, in the show, they never found Dallas. Like, remember he was, like, at the bottom of a lake and stuff? Like, in the manga, they actually, like, dig him up and stuff. You know, do all that shit.
Also, I think they do that in OVAs. I'm not too sure, though. Don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, apparently they I was reading. I'm like, I don't remember seeing it. I'm like, oh shit, because they went to 1932 after that. The show didn't really touch on that too much. Then 1934, you know, like it like the furthest it went was 2007, I believe.
You said the two gold miners, right? At the beginning, the comedic, as I call them, the comedic relief characters, because
that's what they were.
Like, running around, and then,
I thought they were two of the best characters. I thought they were hilarious.
For me, it was like they were funny at first, and then they just got annoying, in my opinion. So I was like, wait, why are you guys even here? They were funny. They're definitely funny.
Shit got old, yeah.
But it was just like, why are you guys even here? It was just like,
just to balance all that brutality.
I guess that's what it is.
I guess it was funny too, because I started watching Durarara this last month.
Oh shit!
And that technically is it's technically a sequel to Baccano also, because I remember at the end of Baccano, two little gold miners, they realized that they were not aging and whatnot, and that was the end of Baccano. But you see those characters in Durarara just like walking around because they're immortal, and this happens like 100 years into the future. So that was funny.
They're part of the dollars, which is hilarious.
I know, right? They're just doing whatever they want because they just live free.
Yeah, it took them like 70 years to figure out they haven't aged.
I know, right? We're not aging. How long has it been? I'm like, wow, really? But yeah, Baccano, good. Fine anime.
Yeah, it you know, I mean, like I said, it was a hard one. I think it's good, but it's not really my cup of tea personally. It was a little bit too much weird talking. I didn't know exactly what the hell was going on, but I appreciate them at least trying to make something that's not your typical anime. It definitely wasn't your typical anime, you know.
Yeah,
what?
You unmuted yourself, so I'm like, oh, you're gonna say something?
No, I'm just saying, you know, it was a little, just like you said, it was a very difficult thing, and I found it hard to continue to watch it. So I got a few episodes in, and then at some point I was just like, but maybe I'll give it another chance.
Yeah, I think it's probably an anime you probably need to watch once or twice, two times at least.
Here's the problem, and I said this before too, like while we're off the air. I think the biggest issue is that you have like this big balls out action show, and then you have this other show where you have to kind of sit and pay attention. The big ballsy action show kind of overshadows it, at least for me. You know what I mean? It's like going. You're running around running around outside, and then all of a sudden, you come inside, and it's like, okay, let's have some quiet time. No, man, my heart's still beating fast.
Yeah, I think it being 13 episodes might have hurt it, since it doesn't really have that much time to pace itself. So it kind of tries to cram everything into once, and especially since it's actually, I think it's 3 story plots. It's like the whole train sequence.
It definitely felt like Cliff Notes to a bigger experience.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe I would have enjoyed it more if it was like more episodes. Ironically enough, you know. I don't think it's a bad show. It's just like, it's hard to get into, man, because it's not like super action or anything. Chris, you're gonna say something?
I think once you get past the 3rd episode, then it gets really interesting. Once shit starts happening on the train, then you're like invested, and then the rail tracer thing happens, and you're like, what the hell is that? And then you actually see him, but he looks like a monster. He looks like a red cloud. He didn't look like a human. And then you're like, wait a minute. Okay, so this Immortals, is there a monster too? Like, what the fuck is happening? And then you're invested, right? Because you want to know what the fuck is happening. And,
as soon as the rail treasure shows up, that's like, okay, this is real now.
Yeah, and then you're invested because then it's like, all right, I'm gonna get some payoff. I'm gonna understand what the fuck is the immortality thing. The only thing I had a problem with Ennis's character, because she's there and like, yeah, she's nice and stuff, and you have like this love interest for what's his name? There's so many characters I can't remember. The young dude. And
Jacuzzi.
Yeah, and then she's
Jacuzzi.
and then they just kind of, that's like a throwaway explanation. It's like, oh, I just made her. It's like, you just made her? It's like you're trying to figure out the formula for immortality, and you're like, oh, I just threw her together.
Yeah, that was weird. Wait, what?
Yeah, and it's like, but dude, like, that's huge. Like, you just didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I just made this.
Okay. I made like, yeah, I don't give a shit about that. I'm trying to bottle immortality. Like, I just fucking made her over the weekend.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
wasn't it the rail tracer that fell in love with her?
No, he fell in love with the assassin girl on the train, Huey's daughter, the one with the knife.
Yeah, see what I mean? All these characters start looking the same.
Yeah.
Granted, the art style and animation in that I felt was pretty good.
It was good. It was good. I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't like impressive, but it was good.
I think in general there's a difference. The drawing was very good. I don't think the animation was all that amazing.
It was okay. It wasn't impressive.
Most things are said when you're not moving. In other words, you pick a good pose and you can sit on that for a while and just have a mouth flap.
I was talking about like how it was moving when they were fighting, like on the train on top of
that.
They
definitely used it where it needed to be used. Like, in other words, it's like for the most part, you're just kind of sitting, talking, stuff like that, and then when they needed to go and do some really awesome stuff, they actually did some awesome stuff. But then that's a lot of shows.
That's the budget for 13 episodes. So.
Yeah, exactly.
There was an odd omission though, like. In the intro of characters, they never showed that military girl who was crawling all over the train and helping people. How come she didn't get an intro card? And she was an information broker, and she told them all this stuff. Like, she revealed a whole big part of the plot when she finally got back. And I'm like, she was helping people. I'm like, she didn't get a card. I mean, she's more important than Ennis was, like I thought.
But she wasn't sexy enough. Because she's crawling around.
She's crawling around on the train.
Yeah, you're right about that. She was pretty important, and they kind of just didn't even.
There was almost a whole episode focused on what she was saying and was happening on the train.
Yeah.
I was asking her questions.
No title card.
No title card for her. And Dallas, we didn't see him most of the time. Like, yeah, he was an asshole. He'd pop up once in a while, kick somebody, and it's like, then you don't see him for 2 episodes. Where's my brother? It's like, well, he's being a fucking asshole over here. Like, how come you don't know where he is?
Yeah, and it's funny because they mentioned Dallas so much, but he was barely on the show,
Yeah. He's the mystery.
No, man. All right, any thoughts before we wrap it up on Baccano?
I thought it was good. Like, it took a little while. For 13 episodes, it took 3 episodes in for me to be, like, invested, right? And then you only have 10 episodes left, so I think they should have either, I don't know, expanded it, like it's longer, or they should have gotten, like, the ball rolling from episode 1. But I liked it. Once I got invested, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it took me more episodes. It took me like 7 episodes to fully get invested in it, But yeah, you're right. Once it got rolling, it got rolling. All right, so let's move on to our other one. This is a classic anime, one that I've always wanted to see, but I never got around to it. GunBuster, recommended by Manny. And there's something very special about this anime. A lot of people may not know. Manny, who directed this?
It's the Mr. Evangelion himself.
Yeah, Hidetaki Anno, his first directorial debut.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, like, if you watch it, the first 5 episodes, you see little hints of it. Like, there's this one Russian girl. I'm like, that's fucking what's her face, the redheaded.
Asuka.
Asuka. Like, yeah, because she was like, she's a badass pilot. She's a bitch. I'm like, that's her. Essentially, like it turned out at the end she was actually a cool person. She wasn't like emotionally scarred like her.
No.
you know, obviously, mainly like you said, you watch one show that's kind of like more of a talkie, and then you have this super actiony one. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just thought it was funny how you train with robots. You have to do push-ups.
I know, right?
That was weird. Yeah, because they're jogging, they're doing push-ups. I'm like, does the robot need to work out? Like, what? But it turns out that you just need to do that just to practice the mechanics of it. But that was weird. I'm like, wait, what? Why are the robots doing laps? That shit.
You can't get out of gym class. Everybody does it. You're into a robot. No excuses.
Yeah, man, but then what I liked about the anime was like they actually had time dilation, which is a real effect. Like the further you get from Earth, the slower time gets for you. So basically, like these characters would go off on missions. For them, it would be 4 months, right? They come back, 10 years pass on Earth, and they actually really got into it. So you see the same characters in different lengths of time. Like you have like the main girl, she remained the same throughout the entire series. She was always 17 years old, but then all her friends were getting super, super old before her eyes.
Yeah, because every time she'd come back, and then she'd be like, "Oh, I just had some kids." It's like, what?
I just had a baby, and then she was like, "Yeah, my baby's like, just graduated from high school." Like, goddamn, yeah, I'm about to die now, so. I hope you get this message before I die.
Everything's okay with you in outer space.
Yeah, it's like she comes back.
You just hitting puberty and she's about to die.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like was it like she goes off to Earth to fight the first war that she fought, and then she comes back and graduates 10 years after everybody else graduated. So it's pretty great. I like how they threw that in there, and then obviously the show has a lot of nods to old, sci-fi stories, particularly Starship Troopers, not the movie, the book. With the mechs and the crazy monsters and stuff. That's what they call them too. They even call names like space monsters. So I thought that was really good. The animation was fucking awesome. I absolutely loved it. And then of course, you had titties everywhere because this is old anime. They don't do that anymore for some reason.
No, they didn't. There's quite a bit of fan service in that film. In that show.
Yeah, because you're piloting a robot in space and you're dressed in the skimpiest fucking outfit possible. Yeah.
Yeah, you need the most freeing outfit ever, so that you can pilot this robot.
Yeah, it's like if there's a hole rupture, you're gonna die instantly. Like you can just put a astronaut suit on it. Nope. Gotta show them titties. Gotta show them legs.
That's why they were working out before they went in space, man. What's the point?
Yeah. And then one thing I found interesting was I was researching this. Like apparently the script for this anime was sitting for a long time. Nobody touched it. And then Ano, he read it and he said he was moved to tears. He was like, I need to direct this. Like he got deep. And then as I was watching this, I'm like, I see little hints of Evangelion in there, but not a lot. And then the final episode hit. The final episode was interesting. It was almost all in black and white, the whole thing.
Oh, I'll tell you a secret about that one. They ran out of budget.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was?
Yes, there's a reason why that last episode is the way it is, and it's like that. It's because they ran out of budget to do that final one, so they had to be kind of really creative with it.
By the way, that's a very good parallel to Evangelion, because that's what happened to Evangelion too. They ran out of money, so they had to get more artsy with it. That wasn't intentional. So I guess the same. I didn't know. Okay, that makes it even more like Evangelion, but it was very artsy. Like even the final war was just still images and stuff. But I liked it because like by the end of it, we could skip right to it. Like 12,000 years pass on Earth.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then. One thing that I thought was funny because, like, they had it spelled out in Japanese, welcome back, right? And then I was reading about that scene. They were like the final letter of, the word is flipped around because when I was watching, I'm like, how would they know Japanese 12,000 years later? But then it turns out that letter was flipped around because the people that are on Earth approximated Japanese. They don't speak Japanese anymore on Earth. So, but they knew that these two were out there, and they saved them and everything. So I thought that was really good. But
they must have had that sign up for. They must have approximated when they were going to come back, or they had that sign up for a long ass time.
Oh yeah, they had that shit ready, man. When these girls come back, we're gonna have that sign ready for them. But it was cool, even with the girls. It's like the main chick, she was still 17, and her friend was like in her early 30s and shit. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most anime don't do that. And then there were other little stories in there because it was more about the characters, not really too much about the space war and stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about certain things like she was like, wait, I'm technically 27. I should be getting married and stuff. But in her mind, she's 17.
Mm-hmm.
Not even thinking about that. Then there was a whole little plot of her trying to find her father. That's the whole reason she went into being a space pilot. And then she finds his ship and never finds him. I felt that was a little disappointing. Like that whole thing never got resolved.
Mm-hmm.
I found it funny how like at the first episode, the what's her name, Takaya, she's like yeah, I'm gonna be like my father. I'm gonna be a great pilot. And then when like that first scene at the school when they're training, you expect her to be like one of the badass ones, but she's actually like one of the she's like the worst student.
And they're putting tacks inside her chair and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just hate her for how much attention she's
You
getting.
suck.
Everybody hated her because they were like, she sucks, but she's only here because her father was this great guy.
So here's my question.
What's up?
Regarding the whole the coach guy, I forgot his name.
Coachy.
I just remember Coach. So the reason why he took her under his wing and trusted her so much, was it because her father saved him, or was it? I didn't really get a meaning on why he trusted her so much.
Yeah, I call that the typical anime thing. I believe in you. I see the potential in you. It's like, what? Why? How? So that was a little bit of a trope that annoyed me. It's like, you have no reason to trust her, and you just trust her implicitly. You know she's going to be the greatest warrior ever or whatever because her father was great. Typical anime trope.
You're going to be the greatest. I know it.
Yeah, so Carl, I can't answer that. It's just typical anime stuff because there was no reason for it.
So how Darth Vader turned out. Yeah.
Because I was just expecting like the whole reason is because her father told them about her having something, But
Yeah.
we never got that, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was odd. Chris, what did you think, man?
Well, I like the show. The time dilation was bothering me because I was thinking how relativity works, and if that much time would pass between leaving Earth and coming back, if all those years would pass. And I had a problem at the end because it's 12,000 years have passed, and we look at our own history and how we've forgotten things. We have lost technology. We have civilizations we don't even remember existed. Yet they remember these two girls are coming back. It's like, oh, be ready, guys. Turn on the sign in 12,000 years. Welcome home. So these two, they would have been legends. It would have almost been mythological at that point in future history.
I don't even think they existed anymore.
They would have been mythical. It would have been
technology would have definitely been on their toes for that a long amount of time to make sure that those kids stayed relevant and real.
Yeah, also at that level of space technology, I would imagine even in 1,000 years they would have had faster than light speed, and somebody would have gone out there and gone, "Oh, hey, why'd you come home now?" And
yeah, they would have found them exactly.
That. Nobody found them.
They played loose with the time dilation too because they went to the center of the galaxy, right? And then they came back and 12,000 years passed. No, if you literally went to the center of the galaxy and traveled back even at light speed, it would be millions of years that have passed.
Yeah, it would have been a long ass time.
Their time dilation works special for them because they're the main characters.
Yeah, because they got the big titties. That's why.
And they were in the GunBuster.
Let's talk about the GunBuster, man. This thing was like an old school mech, man. Grandizer and shit.
Got this shit, son. Son, let me talk for a little while.
Riku, that's all you, man.
Motherfucker. Okay, so I started this. I was like, okay, this is decent. First 3 episodes, I was like, okay. I thought mech designs from the little training robots. I was like, okay, this is cute. They look like little Pillsbury Doughboy mechs and whatnot. And then when the GunBuster was showing off in episode, was it 4? When it was debuted,
yeah.
4 and 5 was the episodes were all there. You said they wasted out a budget. It all went into 4 and 5. That's where it all went. That's why I didn't have anything left for 6. It went into 5 and 4 because when they showed off the GunBuster, man, the GunBuster, first of all, amazing mech design, especially for the time that it came out. Secondly, the art style animation for it just went skyrocket for episode 4 and 5, and GunBuster in those like 4 or 5 episodes did like 5 to 7 different like signature moves. I couldn't even remember all of them, but man, all of it was fucking crazy and badass. I was like, this is it in the same animation studio that did Gurren Lagann, right?
Yep,
Gainax?
Gainax, yeah, exactly.
So I could definitely see.
Which you also notice the similarities between GunBuster and Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, the
arms
fact that
crossed and everything.
Yeah, I saw that shit. I was like, man, this is definitely the original Gurren Lagann, because this thing is badass. I prefer this over Gurren Lagann.
Dude, there was that one point where it got ridiculous. Like, she did 5 moves in a row, and they were all in English. You know? Final Flash! It's like, what the fuck? Like, even the shield had a name.
Yeah.
That shield was pretty sick. It busted some Darkwing Duck shit. That shit was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, good.
So you liked it more than Gurren Lagann. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Gurren Lagann in a lot of ways is a tribute to those classic robot shows like that.
Like
so
this one, exactly.
Like this one,
I think for me, Gurren Lagann, I think it went too up there. I was like, just bring it.
Well, that's kind of the point.
I know.
That's the point.
I know that was the point.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be Gundam.
No, it's not supposed to be Gundam. I mean, it's just, I mean, come on. They're what was it? It was like it ran on like confidence and spiral energy. It's like, what? You know what I mean?
Magic. That's what I call it.
Space magic.
And then come on, and then at the end where it combines with the stupid ship and then the moon.
Yeah.
Because the moon was also a giant robot as well.
and he's throwing galaxies.
Yeah, and they're throwing galaxies at each other. It obviously is not supposed to be taken that seriously.
I know. When it came to GunBuster, at least
there's chicken-headed like dudes. Like there's all these the Beastmen. They're all like silly like.
By the way, I want going back to GunBuster. I like the aliens because they felt like fucking aliens. Like you didn't know what their motivation was. They just wanted to kill humans just for the fuck of it. And even the way they reproduced was crazy. It was like they used sun
insects. Yeah.
When you hear about anything destroying suns to reproduce, that'll freak you the fuck out, And even their forces, like remember they were estimating, it's like there's 100 million, like 100 million. They're like, oh, by the way, it's actually 200 million. It's like and then the final one, it was like 6 billion. I'm like, holy fucking shit! But if you're like an insect army, I guess you would have that many, troops and stuff, and they had crazy ass weapons, man. It was nuts, but even the girls were like, what do they have? I don't know, let's blow it up. It was crazy. I love the alien design, and I like that you didn't know about them too much. It was ambiguous in that way. You just know aliens are coming, we gotta fuck them up.
Well, I mean, even again, that's also goes back to the Starship Trooper stuff you were saying.
It does, exactly.
Like you didn't really know that much about the bugs that they were fighting. You just knew enough that they were the bad guys and they had to go kill them. I mean, the thing is that you could also, say that maybe even in Starship Troopers, the bugs they were putting all this extra personality onto the bugs when they really weren't even a threat at all.
It's true,
because there was all that friggin' propaganda that was everywhere saying that they needed to destroy them.
Yeah, I mean, who knows who really started the war? I mean, they gave you hints that it was the humans that started the war with the alien, with the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know this one because I think they said something along the lines like the bugs needed to eradicate us because we were going to be a threat eventually, something like that.
Yeah, they said something like that.
But there was no moment where like you talk to the bug leader like we will destroy humans.
Yeah, like in other words, they didn't have that Independence Day moment where it's like I will explain our motivations to you.
Yeah, well, this was like Independence Day done like 1 billion times better.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's on
Brett Spiner will explain our motivations to you who do not understand us.
Yes. But yeah, man, I mean, my final words is basically, if you like mech anime, you need to watch it. And you want to know the origins of, Evangelion a little bit, definitely check this shit out, man. Really good. I'm really glad I got to see it. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, great choice.
Yay!
All right, let us move on a little bit before we go into the anime we're anticipating. Riku, tell us more about the summer anime that are out now, besides the ones you're watching. Like, what do you think about this season overall?
This season overall, it has some good treats in it. I was trying to load up the page that has all the stuff that are either started a couple days ago, started today, or starting in a couple of days, and they got some nice treats in there. You're gonna see at least 7 to 6 stuff. Like I said, I picked up like 5 or 6 things that I found really intriguing. Charlotte is definitely one of them. I was just like, that came out of nowhere. But this season is looking really good. I'm glad I'm actually following this because they've actually been. I don't know how long they've been having anime come out around the same time. I don't know how long they've been doing this. It couldn't have been that long. I'm not saying. I'm saying this probably started about 3.5 years ago. So it's all of the. I've never heard of anime seasons till recently.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean it's a cool concept that now you have something to look forward to at the beginning of every quarter of the year. And next anime season starts in the fall, and that's around October. And they got some hype stuff in there also. So it's just like there's just like something to look forward to now. Like how for gaming it's like everyone looks forward to like the winter games or the summer releases or March Madness, all that stuff. It's kind of like that 4 times a year for anime watchers now. So I'm glad I actually know about it and keeping up with it because I'm finding some good stuff in there. I think my most anticipated thing for the rest of this year comes out next fall, and that's called One Punch Man.
One Punch Man, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's anticipated that one.
Yeah,
One Punch.
Yeah. But yeah, anime seasons, man. Follow, keep up with that stuff because I definitely am.
Yeah, and it's an easy way to like watch a lot of anime because you might just spend like a Saturday watching like 4 episodes on a Saturday, and that's four series for 1 week. And if you just do that, you'll watch 4 series within.
Yeah, and they set it up.
Also, how long are usually these series?
That's exactly what I was just about to say.
I was about to say it too because I think this is why you have a lot of series now that are specifically 12 episodes long because 12 episodes it's a full season.
Or 26. Yeah, or 26 because I know, like I said, Arslan Senki is something I started last season, but it's still going on this season. It will end this season because it's 26 episodes. 12 this season, 12 next season. So it definitely fits in. It probably started right when all these animes started to go around the 12 episode to 26 episode. So, like I said, 3.5 years ago is probably where I'm estimating where this.
I also think it's a pretty good test bed for those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
where it's like they can fully go full force and then just stop and see
and it definitely helps the budget.
Yeah,
definitely helps the budget for a lot of these shows because everyone's not Toei. They just can't fart out 100 episodes of One Piece or Dragon Ball Z and vaguely be fine. I mean, they're vaguely not doing fine themselves, but
it definitely keeps the quality up.
Yeah,
where it's like you only need to worry about 20.
People actually wanted. I was one of those people also. People were actually disappointed that Dragon Ball Super wasn't going to be. Going to follow all of those traditions that anime have been taking, the 26 episodes and whatnot. Because if we actually got it that way, the budget for all of that stuff would probably be a lot better. But this is Toei. There's obviously 2 different types of animes now. The ones that are going to follow the seasonal 26 to 12, and then there's still going to be the One Pieces, the Naruto's, the Bleaches that are going to be over 100. They're going to go on for.
Well, I mean, also I think in general those things. They can afford to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, in other words,
it's really small now. Those types of animes, they're becoming extinct. I really don't see a lot of anime in the future even going that path. Like something like Dragon Ball.
Yeah, where they've gotten to that saturation point where they just keep going and going and going.
You remember back in the day, it didn't matter how many episodes an anime had. If they would end off at weird numbers like 114, 75, 36, it just whenever it ended, you know. But now it's like the numbers you see is 12, 26, 50, 25,
usually,
52, and then the One Pieces and Naruto's that just like they'll end when they end forever, just forever.
Yeah, they just going forever. That's it, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's interesting. Man, I need to hunker down with a lot of these. You know, moving on to anime we're anticipating. I know Toonami's gonna have a Kame ga Kill, whatever. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Kame ga Kill.
Yeah. And I also have to get my DVRs bustling. Like, watch me. I started recording this one anime. I can't pronounce it now, but Toonami recently got it a month ago. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and whatever else you guys come up with, obviously. But now that the summer's here, I think there's no more games really until the fall. I think I finally.
Well, you got that one monster that's coming in September.
You know, that's September, July, and August, nothing. And I think I'm gonna stay away from Witcher. Like, no, I need space to do other things.
You need a life. You can only handle one open world game.
Every game is open world. And
I heard that podcast, by the way.
Yeah, I know you did. Dude, it's too much. It's too much now. So yeah, I can't say what anime I'm looking forward to specifically. Besides those two, I'm just looking forward to watching more anime. Period. You know.
I think there's one more thing in this season that I haven't seen yet because it got delayed. It was supposed to come out. Exactly. It was supposed to come out on Sunday, but it got moved till next week Sunday. And they said
that's ufotable, man.
It's ufotable. They got some stuff planned for us. I've been hearing some stuff. So, God Eater, if you know what the PSP game was about God Eater.
God Eater, yeah.
Yeah, this is getting adapted, and it's being adapted by one of the best animation studios out there. So I'm definitely hyped to see how they're gonna.
Who would that be?
Ufotable. Above Madhouse quality.
I need to watch Fate, Unlimited just to see this. You know, that's a big boast, Riku. That's a big boast.
Well, I mean,
Riku's opinion.
Madhouse has different levels, though.
They do.
Yeah.
They have different levels. They have like
their stuff recently have been kind of the same, but I know what you mean.
You know, I mean, there's the stuff that they do for Marvel, which looks, passable. It looks good, and then you have
X-Men
shit like then you have shit like Redline. You know what I mean? So it's like they have levels of explosion sauce.
When did Redline come out? Wasn't Redline like a?
Redline is like insanely awesome looking.
No, I mean like when did it come out? Like
2007 or so.
2007.
Yeah.
The Madhouse I was talking about is just like the stuff they've done in the past like 3 years. All of their stuff, as far as animation, have been on the same level. Nothing's been high, nothing's been low. It's been at this really good, impressive thing. At least for the anime that I've seen that they've produced in the past 3 years.
Even wasn't the one with the bar also a Madhouse one?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's one. Yeah, that one actually didn't even look like a Madhouse thing. Usually the Madhouse stuff is like that kind of, semi-tall, realistic-looking stuff.
Actually, the main girl in that, she looked like a Madhouse person.
She looked like the Madhouse character to me. You realize Madhouse, a lot of their stuff, at least lately, it's been a really colorful stuff.
Yeah, it's not that because when I think of Madhouse, I think of Ninja Scroll and like fucking
They've definitely changed.
Because I think definitely it's because of the way the designer, like they used to use that one specific designer a lot, and his work is like that. It's very dark and gritty looking.
And obviously they're going by someone else's like stuff now, and you can see it in all of their stuff. I love the colors they use. They're a really colorful company.
Yeah, it's funny because you wouldn't say that a long time ago, man. It was just it was just blacks and deep blacks. Like the Madhouse style I think of is like, you remember the Animatrix with the one with the samurai girl in it? That's what I always remember with those guys. But yeah, they definitely in the last few years have kind of turned that around and just done a little bit of a different stuff.
That's another colorful.
Yeah, again,
they did.
one.
Again, it does not look like it doesn't look like the classic Madhouse stuff. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely two different generations of Madhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Overlord, the one I'm watching. I just watched that today. That's extremely colorful. That's done by Madhouse also. You could see it. You could see it. So, yeah. God Eater, can't wait for that. That's the only thing I'm anticipating that I haven't seen that is a part of this season. That's me.
All right. Let's see. Let's move on. Carlos, what about you? What are you anticipating?
Yeah, pretty much what Riku is. God Eater. I still haven't watched anything from the summer except for Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlotte and Gangster I want to watch.
Oh, dude, see Gangster. Please watch Gangster. Gangster's real good.
Yeah, and my friend just told me that I have to watch that too. So that and another one called Roka.
Roka.
And this other one that's called Snow White with the red hair.
I heard about that one. You're gonna watch that? Tell me how that is.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Tell me
it's supposed to be a shoujo, which is more like kind of like a girly anime.
Yeah, shoujo. I've seen a couple shoujos.
But like I heard that like last season, it's still going on, called Ore Monogatari. I heard it's like really good, and it's a shoujo too, so I might get into those, see how they are.
Yeah, I just got a message from my friend. He's actually watching the stream right now. Shout out to him. Fike. He said the anime season goes back as far as fall of 2010. So that's about 5 years they've been doing this now.
Damn.
So I'm surprised I didn't know about such thing. But yeah, they've been doing that for half a decade now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also, you probably the way you watch them, it's like you kind of, sometimes I remember you kind of binge watch them instead of waiting for them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, just going each week and saying, I don't know, what's playing this week?
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot to mention this because I was blanking out. When we were talking about Madhouse, I think of shit like Wicked City. That's Madhouse.
Well,
Wicked City. That's definitely the greedy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's still like that kind of very dark black style that they used to have. Like even if you go back to the when the Highlander film that they did.
That's right.
That was also that kind of style. It literally looked like Ninja Scroll, but with more color to it.
Vampire Hunter: The Bloodlust, they did that too.
Yeah, that's them too. So.
Yeah, Madhouse is the shit. Yeah, you do.
I actually got it to load now, so I can see anime, not the stuff that are coming out. There's actually two more that I wanted to watch other than God Eater that hasn't come out yet. One called Prison School. As far as I've been hearing from the manga, I heard that's going to be really, really good. So, and I think that comes out this weekend. And then another one that's actually is being adapted from a manhwa, a Chinese manga, and that's called Chu Feng. So
I want them to do fucking Storm Riders. Shit.
I know, right?
That shit up in there. I've been speaking of Storm Rider. I've been fiending over this friggin' Cloud. I think his name is Cloud. No, the guy with the white hair in Storm Riders. I think his name is Cloud. Whatever. Anyway, they made this. They made this really awesome. Like Hot Toys made this really awesome figure. I'm like, every time I go to the comic store, I'm like, I want that shit.
Yo, man, give me that. Give me
that Storm Rider.
All right, Carlos. Any other anime you're anticipating?
Nope. Pretty much it.
All right, Chris, hit us.
I'm the wrong guy to ask. I haven't been keeping up with anything.
So just turn on you'll just watch Vampire Hunter D.
Yes.
I'm like Fry from Futurama. I'm just in my underwear watching my VHS tapes. I'm like, I remember this shit from the 90s. Like, no, I gotta watch some new stuff. Like, I think the other day I went on Kiss Anime, I went on the new list, and there was like this like Monster Girl thing, but I shut that shit off halfway. I'm like, this is more than hentai, man.
Speaking of stuff Girl, Monster. I've heard about that.
Monster. I started watching that too.
Yeah, I just turned it off. I'm like, oh, forget this. Like I've seen that stuff, but this was like on the edge, man. I'm like, you are almost in porn night.
You're almost Legend of the Oberfiend.
Yes. You're really pushing a boundary. Yeah, I guess I'll keep up with Dragon Ball Super. God Eater, I played a little bit of the game, so I will definitely check that out.
What was God Eater the game? I can't remember what it was about anymore.
It was like a Monster Hunter genre game where these
Oh,
guys have these swords.
That's interesting that they would do something based off of like a kind of a Monster Hunter.
That's what Ufotable does. A lot of their stuff that they adapt are from either visual novels or video games. So
they should do another. They should do another dot hack anime.
And actually, people have been I've seen a couple of recommendations for Durarara, so I'm gonna watch that now.
Yeah.
Now that I watch Baccano, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, Durarara is made by the same people who did Baccano. So if you like Baccano,
now that I'm primed with that show, I'm gonna now watch that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the new season of Durarara just started, correct?
It's the second part of the second season.
Times two?
So like the second season got split into 3 parts,
Mm-hmm.
and the first part came out in the winter, I think, in the 2015, and the second part just came out last week, I think.
Isn't the third part supposed to come out next year, like first quarter? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to
quarters in there.
Yeah. Trying to keep caught up with the dub because I actually like the dub for Durarara. But speaking of, you said you dropped that Monster show. I actually did watch something this season that I dropped also. It was called Gate. I watched that last night, and it was about like this dude who wanted to go to a convention, and then these like monsters came in, and that shit was so stupid, boring, and confusing. I turned it off halfway. I was like, wow. It's obviously I'm trying out a lot of stuff, and if it's not catching my attention, I'm turning that shit off because I could be watching other stuff.
Yeah, I look at Kiss Anime all the time, so I'm like, all right, let me click on this. Like, okay, I'll check this out, and it just came out, right? So one episode. I got 15 minutes in, and I'm like, well, typical bullshit. This nerdy guy, he gets paired up with the snake girl. They're sleeping together in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm done. All right, I know what this is. I know what's going on here. Forget it.
By the way, just to say this has been a while, but talking about anime that we dropped, some of them that I dropped was Night Raid 1931. I bring that up because that was like Baccano. It takes place in the 1930s, and I'm like, this is boring, and I dropped this, and it was like it's like X-Men in 1931, but boring. It's like I don't know what's going on here. You know which one I dropped hard after first episode? I was like, fuck this. Gotcha Man Crowds. What a piece of shit.
Yeah,
that was bad, man. And I'm like, Gotcha Man, they got a new Gotcha Man. I'm fucking down with this. It was bad, dude. It was bad.
Yeah, not everything can be a masterpiece, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Manny, anything?
For me, since I got the email from Netflix saying, "Hey, Knights of Sidonia season 2," I'm like, all right, I'm down. And I kind of want to see the Boy and Beast anime that's coming out by Mamoru Hosoda. Yeah.
Yep.
He did his last film was actually pretty cool too, which was Wolf Children, though it's very kind of depressing.
I love that movie, man.
But he also directed Summer Wars. He did
nice.
He directed the opening to Samurai Champloo. So he's got some tenure.
The Girl Who Leapt Through Time also.
Yes, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, another really great film. So this guy's good. He does good stuff. So this one looks really interesting
now. Shit.
Yeah, this guy.
Digimon movie.
Yes, well, both Digimon. Well, here's the thing. You gotta watch what you gotta do is you gotta watch the Japanese versions of both movies because they really kind of retardedly merged them together into one stupid.
Yeah, our version is terrible.
Yeah.
Whatever they showed us was like crap.
Yeah, they just took all the really nice animation and stuck it into one big movie that doesn't make any sense. But it's funny because if you watch the film Summer Wars, it's actually a lot like the Digimon movie. It's almost like a weird sort of remake. It's very similar in a lot of ways. But yeah. It's I just want to see that. He did some good stuff.
Awesome.
Some fun stuff he did work on in the past. He did work on Dragon Ball Z as an animator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a Dragon Ball Z animator. He also worked on Crying Freeman.
Oh, nice. That's an old school one right there.
So yeah, he's kind of old school. Those other stuff.
All right, so we're about to wrap this up. So from now on,
let me say one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One more thing about.
One more thing.
You know how I basically have a platinum agenda. I had to definitely create one for
anime
movies, and manga, because like all of this stuff is getting out of hand. There's a lot of stuff in all of those categories that I need to get caught up on, and certain things I either forget or I put ahead of stuff that I shouldn't have. So now I created an anime agenda on what I'm going to watch and the order and when I'm going to start.
Can we look at your anime agenda?
Yes,
Oh
we
yeah,
can.
I'm gonna be tweeting it every time I update it.
Oh, okay. I thought we could like look at your Google Calendar or something like that and be like, platinum
No,
today, anime tomorrow.
Actually,
Anime platinum.
I think I tweeted it yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
all
You
my
did.
agendas.
You did.
Yeah. I mean, every time I check something off on that list, I'm just gonna tweet it all out. I remember I had like Human Centipede for my movies, and someone was like, "You're gonna watch Human Centipede?" Yeah, I'm a fan of Human Centipede. Time to watch the third one.
I like looking at your PlayStation thing because it literally says what the next platinums are gonna be. For you.
Oh, the number and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the anime agenda, I've been hearing so much fucking stuff about Knights of Sidonia. So that is up next on there. So by the time we do this again, since it's going to be my turn to be recommending stuff to you, I'll be watching what I'm going to recommend, but I'll be watching Knights of Sidonia. So I'll probably have season 1 and 2 done by the time the next episode starts. So definitely want to talk about that as a...
All right, good. That gives me an excuse to jump in because I've been wanting to watch that because that's a more hard sci-fi type of show too.
Yeah, I've been hearing some real crazy stuff about Sidonia.
Okay, now before we get into the next anime, just a couple of things. Now that we have 6 people here, right? That's 2 anime for each of us, and the reason we bunched up a couple episodes just to get it back in line. So from now on, we're gonna have 1 anime per month. So Riku, what are we watching next month?
Alrighty. So what you guys are going to be watching next month? It has 26 episodes. It has a season 1 and 2, so 12 episodes in each season, and then a movie. So I mentioned this back actually on episode 1 of Otanime, and I said it was one of my favorite animes of all time. It's because it's the adaptation of one of my favorite video games, and that is Sengoku Basara.
Oh shit.
Yep. It's going to be Sengoku Basara. So the 26 episodes and then the movie. It's all out in English dub on Kiss Anime. So
awesome. And
the English dub is actually really fucking good. They've got some celebrity voice actors in there. So I don't even want to name them. It's going to take too long. There's a lot of you're going to hear like at least 4 or 5 voice actors in there. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. I fucking love his voice acting." So Dub is down.
Liam O'Brien is probably in there. He's in every anime ever. Of course, I knew it.
He's in there. Yeah. So the dub gets a thumbs up. Anime season 1 was good. I gave it a 7. Season 2 was even better, and I gave that an 8. And then the movie was even better than that. I gave that a 9. So it just gets better and better and better.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna enjoy the anime more than the game because I saw the game at a bunch of shows. I'm like, I don't know about this game, man. This shit looks like Dynasty Warriors.
Here's the thing. It's in the genre of Dynasty Warriors, but it's made by Capcom and the people behind Devil May Cry. So Capcom wanted to one-up Koei by creating a Dynasty Warriors game with a lot deeper gameplay behind it. So like every character in that game, has the complexity and gameplay of like Dante.
Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a lot of people that don't like Dynasty Warriors like Sengoku Basara because of how deep the gameplay is. So when you watch the anime, it's actually the studio behind it is Production IG. So from an animation standpoint, it's up there also. So
by the way, LeRay just showed back up again. What's up, man?
Just like
yeah, just so
LeRay has arrived. Yeah. So I just mentioned the anime that we're going to be watching next, LeRay. That's Sengoku Basara. Yep. So yeah, the 26 episodes in the movie. But yeah, Production IG, they did a really good job, and their animation for season 1, 2, and 3, all of them just get better. Especially that movie. Ooh, when you see that fucking movie, dude, you're gonna shit your pants.
It's the movie, man. They gotta step that shit up.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. So everybody knows Sengoku Basara. It's that'll be good. 26 episodes as a whole month. I'll start that shit now.
Well, you won't be disappointed. You won't be see. Yeah.
All right, and then the last thing is, since this episode was late, supposed to be out in June, it's July, so we're gonna have another Otanime at the end of this month. So it's gonna be in like 3 weeks or so, I believe, maybe less than that. Let me look it up real quick. 1, 2, 3 weeks. We'll be back in 3 weeks for that. So you got 3 weeks to watch your shit, people.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, guys. So thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Follow Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Links down there and all that stuff. Once again, I was with Tony Polanco, and joined by Michael Crawford.
What's good, people? Peace out. This anime season is really good. Next one looks even better.
LeRay Williams.
Peace out, the manga god.
Emilio Lopez.
You can live as a human and not as a vampire.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
And Carlos Romero.
Itakimasu.
All right, guys.
What is this buddy?
All right, guys. See you next time. Later.
Peace.
Peace out.
Later.